Welcome to today's Orange Monkey Report. Happy Martin Luther King Day. That is hard to reconcile. Martin Luther King Day, and in 5 days we'll have a racist bigot president being sworn in. So it tells you that his vision, his dream, has a ways to go in America, a long ways to go. But let's digress from that whole subject today and talk about something that's very important. It's been a problem for a long time in America. I am not going to put it all on the GOP. I'm going to put a lot of it on the GOP, but not all of it. Democrats and we Americans, we as a country, share this problem. The decline of our public education system. That got to be easy pickings for belt-tightening states, communities, and as a country to rob public education system to pay other bills, deemed more urgent. There is nothing more urgent than the education of our kids. The foundation of what has made, in my opinion, America great over the years is the public education system. There's no doubt in my mind. And it was always founded in this country on the basis that all children, regardless of race, position in society, wealthy, middle class, lower class, would have the opportunity to use the public education system available to them as a stepping stone, a leg up to a future. Particularly needed in the middle class, and for God's sakes, our poor citizens in this country. Desperately needed for those children. That is their place in society to get their step to go further. And yet every time I turn around in this country, public education is under attack. We spend too much on schools. The unions are ruining public education. There's not enough Jesus in our schools. Schools were ruined when we got rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. It's all bullshit. School is about finding and retaining good teachers. That costs money and funds. It's about making sure the facilities they teach in, our schools, are up to date, safe, and provide a nourishing environment for our children to learn. Those take money in dollars, and we all have to pay to that. All of us have to pay in and support that system. And every time I turn around, I see it under attack, particularly by the GOP. They've come up with this phrase. It sounds wonderful. It's a great phrase. It really hits you there, which is parents should have school choice. I.e., you shouldn't be burdened by having to put your kids in the public education system. You as a parent should have the opportunity to choose your schools, i.e. send them to private schools. And that just makes me want to vomit, okay? Parents have always had that option. I used it on my daughter. Me and my wife made a decision that for a few years my daughter would need to go to a private school. We talked about it. We wrote our check. We were able to do that, okay? We paid for it. We didn't ask. other taxpayers to pay for it, and we continued to pay our taxes knowing that money was needed in the public education system. But under the GOP's school choice bullshit, once again, they look at the public education pot of money and it drives them nuts. It drives them crazy in the GOP. That shouldn't be there. Ooh. So what they want to do is take that pot of money, because I guess to them, and wealthy people, predominantly private schools are made up with upper middle class and wealthy people. And there's nothing wrong. I have nothing wrong with them sending their children to private schools as they see fit. That's their right as parents. That's her right to be successful. I have no problem with that. But you have to pay for it out of your family income, not the taxpayers. The taxpayers' money goes to the public school system for everybody's children. But under the school choice vouchers, what the GOP wants to do is reimburse upper middle class and particularly wealthy families when they choose to send their children to private school. They want, through the form of vouchers, the public to pay for that. And they'll say, well, it's the option's open to all people. Well, it's not, okay? When you send your child to private school, you have to find a way, more or less, to provide transportation to and from. You have to fund their uniforms. You have to fund their nutrition, okay? Even if you were to reimburse poor families so that they could send their kids to private schools or charter schools, another catch-cute phrase that I don't like, okay? They can't afford the other things. It's still not an option for them. The reimbursing partial of the tuition doesn't do any good. It's simply another way to reduce taxation on wealthy people. We'll reimburse them for sending their children to exclusive private schools. And where does that money come from? It comes out of the public education system funding. This pot, when they do that with the vouchers come in, shrinks. Our public schools get less money. They fall apart. We cannot pay to retain quality teachers, which these children desperately need. We pay them nothing. And so we can't attract the top talent to this profession. Most of our teachers are wonderful. They're just, through the crappy GOP, put a hand tied behind their back and under attack always. So now we got Zippy the narcissist clown getting sworn in this Friday. And his proponent for Department of Education is Miss Betty DuVos, born of incredible wealth in the state of Michigan. That's his person that he wants to head the Department of Education. Remember, he's a man of the people, Donald Trump, so he appoints somebody who's of tremendous wealth. There's nothing wrong with that. Number of days that she's attended public school in her life would be 0. She went to an exclusive private school. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, she had 4 children I read about and wanted to see how many days her 4 children spent in the public education system. That would be 0. And if I got that wrong, I apologize, Miss Betty, but I don't think I did. She has been a proponent since day one, anti-proponent against teachers in public education. She's a school choice, using public education money, taking it away from children that go to public education and moving it to wealthy individuals in private schools. She did through her works in I think the city of Detroit is a classic example. They opened a ton of charter schools. Most of them weren't worth a shit. They were able to send more poor children to these charter schools. That was a good thing. They did get a slightly better education, although well below public education standards across the state. They only did a little better in these charter schools than the public schools next to them. Overall, public school system, the median of public schools, totally blew away in quality these charter schools that Miss Betty, proponent, could never trace the money of these charter schools. They were completely unregulated, without any hard standards on those. And then the other thing they found out, of course, is that public education system, because there was less money, did worse. So, once again, it's a failed GOP policy geared towards helping very high upper middle class and the wealthy at the expense of the rest of the country, and particularly a gross attack on the poor. I encourage you, all folks, to read what is happening to the Kansas schools now that they are heading into, I think, the 4th year of Senator Brownback and his slash and burn policies, and that thing and what they have done to the schools and the quality of the education those poor children coming out of Kansas's public school system is doing. And now Zippy, the narcissist clown, getting sworn in this Friday, wants to take the Kansas model, the destruction of public schools, and bring it to the entire country with Miss Betty Dubois, who has no experience with the public education system, has no experience with ordinary people, has been a privileged of wealth her whole life, apparently feels education is principally should be reserved for wealthy people, completely unqualified to be in the Department of Education, but she'll get in. That's a guarantee. And our public school system, which will be responsible for making the future entrepreneurs, the future of our country, that is going to come from the public school system. It is not going to come from the private school system. The private school system is wonderful. It produces amazing talent, but it's such a small part of it. You cannot exist that way. If that is where your talent pool is going to be, your country will fall. We need a superb public education system. I hope you all take that to heart, because it's very discouraging to see it under attack day after day after day, particularly by the GOP. And we got to stop it, and we got to fight it. It's too important to lose this battle. We need to be strong on this. You, Zippy the narcissist, pinwheel clown, are not going to destroy our public school system. We are going to fight you every step of the way. And with that, put some thoughts, read something about Martin Luther King. I am woefully ignorant of the man, okay? And I need to go spend a half an hour this evening to go read up on him, because I hear he was a unique individual. And so we can celebrate him today and celebrate his vision for the rough, long fight ahead as Zippy, the narcissist, pinhole, pinhead clown. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. Caught the Saturday Night Live thing on the press conference on Zippy, done by Alec Baldwin, and I ache. I laugh so hard because he captures him in a unique way. It's so spot ass on. It's funny. And the fact that Zippy the Pinhead gets so upset about it is all the more better. So I think I'm going to go up and read a little bit about Martin Luther King and go back and watch that video clip of Saturday Night Live, and we'll get ready for the big fight ahead of us. Have an amazing day. So long on today's Orange Monkey Report.